San Diego FC just pulled off one of the wildest wins of their season, and they did it in a hard way. In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, San Diego beat Liga MX side Toluca 3-2. But here's the crazy part. They played most of the match down a man. In the final minutes, with just 9 players on the field, Marcus Ingvartsen was sent off early. Toluca scored, and it looked like the night might be over. But San Diego fought back. David Vázquez scored twice, and then Anders Dreyer delivered an incredible golazo to give SDFC the lead. Even after a second red card late in the match, San Diego held on to win and now takes a 3-2 advantage into the second leg in Mexico. For an expansion club, this kind of resilience is a huge sign that San Diego FC might be building something special. The question now, can they finish the job in Toluca and keep their Champions Cup run alive? It's been a wild week for San Diego FC, and somehow the expansion club keeps finding ways to stay in the fight. Frank, you were at the CONCACAF Champions Cup. How was San Diego able to pull off one of the most dramatic wins of their young season?
It's been about a week, and I still have no idea how that happened. It was absolutely incredible. They pulled off one of the most dramatic wins of their young season, a 3-2 victory over Deportivo Toluca F.C. at Snapdragon Stadium, and they did not do it in an easy way. They went down 10 men just 16 minutes into the match after Marcus Ingvartsen was sent off. Toluca immediately capitalized on the penalty kick and got the 1-0 lead. But San Diego FC somehow, some way, got better going down a man. And David Vázquez, who was more or less getting picked on by Toluca all night long, was the one that did it for them.
Yeah, he scored to equalize it in the first half, and then struck again just after halftime to give the home side a surprising lead. Then came the highlight moment. Star winger Anders Dreyer delivered an absolute golazo to make it 3-1, one of the best goals of the season so far. And things got even crazier late. Manu Duah picked up a red card in the 88th minute, leaving San Diego with 9 players. Toluca converted the penalty to cut the lead to 3-2, but San Diego held on. They played 2 men down in stoppage time. The expansion club somehow survived the late push and will take a 1-goal advantage into the second leg in Mexico, a place where, when you're on the road, goals count as double in this CONCACAF Champions Cup. It would be very imperative for San Diego FC to get a goal early in this contest.
Yeah, you really can't lose. A draw or a win is fine, but you really cannot lose. You're only going to dig yourself into a hole if you start allowing goals, and you can't really use the way they played against Pumas as kind of a measuring stick here, because they're coming into this game with completely different motivations. They were up 4-1. Now they're only up 3-2. It's going to be a very different contest from what you had a couple of weeks ago against Pumas.
Now, let's talk about their MLS match that they had over the weekend. They ended up having a 3-3 draw as they battled FC Dallas over the weekend. Goals everywhere, and it was really Dallas striker Petar Musa that stole the spotlight with a hat trick.
Yeah, he was really, really good. Had the equalizer in the 5th minute of added time. San Diego still showed plenty offensively as Onni Valakari scored twice, once from the penalty spot and another a little bit later on. His first multi-goal game in MLS, while Ingvartsen added another goal from the penalty spot as well. That made it 3-1, if I remember correctly. It might have been 3-1 or 2-0 at that point. But still, San Diego FC played their game. Unfortunately, Dallas was just a little bit too much of a pain in the neck over the course of the night.
Yeah, despite controlling the possession, San Diego allowed Dallas too many chances and paid the price late. And what this means is the biggest takeaway from the week, San Diego FC might have already that identity that they're resilient between fighting off Toluca with 9 players and going toe-to-toe in a 6-goal MLS thriller. The team has shown that they're not afraid of chaos. Mm-hmm. And they're not afraid to go toe-to-toe with you in any type of way you want to play soccer. But the flip side is defensive consistency. Giving up last-second equalizer in MLS and facing heavy pressure in the Champions Cup shows there's still work to do defensively. It's a very young defensive line, though.
It is a very, very young defensive line. I don't know if it's necessarily defensive inconsistency That's the problem. I think that they had a lot of guys who were out on the pitch that had just came out of a war against Toluca a couple of nights prior, and just had a little bit of an off night. They were a little bit sluggish. They were a little bit behind. Also, you had Pablo Cisniega behind them for the first time this season since Faria has taken over and has done incredibly well. So I don't necessarily think it's defensive inconsistency. I think it was just they were showing signs of battle from a couple of nights earlier.
So looking ahead, the schedule doesn't slow down. First, San Diego heads to Mexico for the second leg of the game of the match against Toluca at Estadio Nemesio Díez in Champions Cup round of 16. Then they return home for an MLS match against Real Salt Lake on March 22nd at Snapdragon Stadium. A strong result in either match could give the expansion club major momentum early in the season. But Frank, this is a lot of games early in the year.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the winner of this next round, the winner of this San Diego FC Toluca deal is going to either play the LA Galaxy or they're going to play Mount Pleasant FC, a Jamaican side. And LA Galaxy won that first contest 2-0 at home. So it's looking like they're going to end up playing another MLS side if they do win against Toluca, an MLS side that they beat twice, including their first ever match.
We'll keep you updated next week.